we have a great group, and we want to have some time for interaction. We are hosted, as you know, tonight by the International Relief and Development Organization, IRD, and Arthur Keyes, on my far right, he's not on my far right, I'm sure, but anyway, is the, whatever, he is the president and CEO of the IRD. And he founded this in 1998, and it's very interesting. Correct me if I'm wrong, Art, but I believe that you are the largest recipient of federal dollars in an NGO for relief and development and work among the poor and among economic development in the world. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. And they do good work. They don't just have programs like this. They're really on the ground, obviously. Art also has had 30 years in humanitarian assistance and domestic and international work, economic and agricultural development, and he comes by that naturally because he's a farm boy, and he has seen what it takes to really bring in the crops, I think. He is a past recipient of the Yale Divinity School's William Sloane Coffins Award for Peace and Justice, and he's worked around the world in Asia, Africa, Latin America, Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and anywhere else you can think of, and has overseen the distribution of more than $1.75 billion in humanitarian assistance. Your article in Reflections, Art, reflected, as you well know, on the poor will always have, and this the rationalization that is sometimes given, not just among people of faith who read the New Testament scriptures, but just of the enormity of the task, and too much to do, and how can we make a difference? So, though you may want to say other things, I hope you'll reflect on that a bit for us today. Art Keyes.
Well, thank you. I'm pleased to be to the far right of Reverend Linda Lader, who's recently ordained, so I think we should acknowledge that.
Thank you.
Being a Calvinist, I assume that Senator Coons does have some sins here, but this address was certainly on the path to perfection. I think that was a tremendous, powerful personal statement linking democracy, faith, and development. We appreciate that. I think that the statements about keeping the poor being always with you are often taken out of context, but it does not mean that we can't make progress in reducing poverty. So I think that we certainly have a faith mandate to care for our neighbor. It's an honor to be with this group of panelists, and Dean Attridge and Senator Coons. We're so pleased you're going to be in the Africa subcommittee. I'm sure Ambassador Hall over here is going to give you some good advice on that. But I think that if I have anything to contribute here to your address is to say that development needs to be done where people are at any given time. And I would kind of expand on what your example of the woman outside Union Station to mean that people in conflict zones need to have assistance, and they need to begin to be engaged on the development agenda as soon as possible, because the development agenda also helps them create the conditions of peace. We can't wait until peace breaks out, because as we know, fully a third of the vulnerable children in the world live in fragile societies, and those societies are in tumult and turmoil. But as we see in Egypt right now, and Libya and Tunisia, these are people that really want to get down to business, and they want to start building both a democratic society and a society with economic growth, with jobs for young people. And unless there's some active engagement on the development agenda, it will be very unstable. So I think you find a nice convergence between the biblical mandate to help your neighbor and also the ability of nation states to achieve some sort of peace and security and equity in the world. my own life, my wife is from Bosnia, and I've seen how quickly and easily civil society can break down. I would say that could happen anywhere, but it's certainly less likely to happen where you have people participating in the society. And if we look certainly at Egypt and Libya right now, that turmoil is fueled by people who were left out of the system and exploited. I think that I would be remiss not to ask Senator Coons to lead the charge for keeping a sensible federal budget there, so you have commitments that have to be balanced, I believe, in terms of our domestic poverty issues, but also in terms of our foreign assistance overseas. We do live in, obviously, difficult economic times, but the pain needs to be shared equitably, and looking at the long-term interest. And development takes a commitment, it costs money, and it also demands solidarity from people of faith like the people in this room. So thank you for your leadership.